I got a would you rather question for you.
All right. Do we start recording already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I never know when you actually start recording.
That's the point.
because we talk about such random things.
We're just throwing out weird stuff. Yeah. No, I started recording back when we were talking about the serving size stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, serving sizes are weird because they're based on a 2,000 calorie
Yeah.
diet. But it's dumb.
Which, depending on your size, metabolism, and everything else, it's like, not to mention what they determine as a serving size very rarely is a serving size for me.
Exactly.
So anyways, so before I get into the would you rather question, I have a different question.
Why are there still wasps up here?
Are there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there are. Jeez Louise.
It's that time of year because it's supposed to be like in the 60s.
Dude. I don't understand those things.
Or 50s, 60s this week.
Might have to go on a killing spree here in a minute.
Yeah.
No. So my question for you was this: what is one thing that you would trust me to do, but that you would not trust anybody else to do?
Ooh.
Maybe that's one for you to ponder on, because I'd have to ponder on it too to like figure out what that one thing would be.
Oh man, that is, as weird as this sounds, kind of piggybacking off of last episode, giving my eulogy.
Oh yeah.
But but it's one of those things where it's like making it so it's not like bringing the humor to it.
Yeah.
In a way where
not just a pity party thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't want you sitting and telling how good of a person. Tell it how it is and everything like
how
that.
we really were and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Like, and not sugarcoat everything.
So something funny along those lines is I've had what I consider to be an abnormal amount of people who have told me that when they die, they want me to do their funeral. I'm like not even kidding, dude.
Right.
Well, I did my grandfather's funeral, and so I just did like the first half of it, kind of talking about my grandfather and stuff. And then I handed it off to the guy that was his pastor to do the kind of more of the biblical side of things, like for lack of a better way of saying it, like the encouraging, like hopeful stuff. And so it was really interesting that like we left there, and when I had like two close friends of our family that I've known my entire life. As a matter of fact, Mike, the husband in this situation, was the one who, like, along with my dad, they both taught me how to drive. Mike was like my youth leader for like a long time and stuff, and so he was kind of like a mentor to me. But him and his wife afterwards were like, "Hey, just so you know, if we ever die, you're doing our funerals." And I'm like, that's the strangest thing to hear from somebody. It's a compliment, and I take it as that. But at the same time, I'm like, it's just so strange to hear that from people. Like, hey, we want you to do our funeral. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that. I would, for lack of a better way of saying it and stuff like that, I think I could have some fun with doing your eulogy in that sense.
And doing all the fun things that we've talked about.
To be fair, though, I'm also older, so you're probably going to end up doing mine.
Yeah. Well.
So we'll see how that goes in the future, I guess. All right, here's the would you rather. I'm still thinking on like what I think that would probably be the one thing too that like I would want you to do my eulogy. Like, if somebody else wants to do like I guess the biblical part of it, but like for you and I to be able to do like each other's beginning of the service and just talk about the person type of thing. Yeah, I think that would be perfect. That's good. So would you rather your inner monologue be audible to everybody within 10 feet of you, or have a random stranger narrate your life out loud like a documentary?
Oh, random stranger, 100%. 100%. I would get sent to HR so fast if my internal dialogue was dictated out loud. 100%.
I thought the same thing. It's like, I was like, I'd much rather have some random stranger talking about like, it's like, can you imagine how much fun it would be to have somebody follow you around and they're like, he's making the same decision he's made 100 times with bad results.
Let's see what happens next.
What do you think? How do you think this one's going to play out? They're asking those kinds of questions and stuff. And I think it'd be hilarious.
Oh, like, 100%.
He's like, oh, they're arguing again. Shut up, Jeff. That'd be very funny.
No, 100% some random
stranger. I'd get in way too much trouble if my inner monologue was audible for everybody within 10 feet.
Like, somebody comes up to me and is like, oh, great, what now? And then as they're talking, like, you can't be this stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's this moron.
You ask me the same thing every day.
Or it's just like they get within 10 feet and you're like, not again. And they're like, oh.
I regret this.
Let's go. All right, let's fire this bad boy off. You ready?
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Josh.
Recognize me? No? Well, I'm Josh.
I got suspended from school because of Josh.
You're going to be there with me in every way imaginable, Josh.
Josh is truly in a trance, yeah.
I went to high school with Josh, and I can tell you right now, he's a terrific kisser.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Josh, these are people's jobs we're talking about, Josh.
Josh walking in the door wasn't even close.
Josh, you are a muffin-snuggling pirate puncher.
Josh is a good guy. We can talk to him.
Please welcome Joshua.
Episode 10, season 2.
10. It's kind of weird, like, to restart, like, with episodes and stuff, since we got to...
Yeah, I know. Going back and saying, like, episode 9, episode 10, that kind of stuff is
like,
definitely
really
strange.
It's like living a fever dream all over again.
Technically, this is our 61st episode.
Right.
60 or 62nd.
60-second, because if you count
we had
Frogman as a
2 special
supplemental,
bulletin
and then
things. Yeah.
we had our initial pilot episode.
Yep. So 62 episodes in.
So a while back, you talked about how space was crazy.
I did? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I had a bunch of like weird space facts in that one episode that was like mind-boggling stuff.
So
Black holes. And...
I kind of asked you, and it probably teased in the banter and stuff like that. But what do you know about the Black Knight satellite?
I don't know a lot about the Black Knight satellite. We talked about that. I'm pretty sure that one of my really obscure podcasts that I listened to at some point in time talked about the Black Knight satellite, but as far as like, I've been racking my brain and I can't recall anything about it.
So, and that's the thing too. Like I was trying to rack my
It's this satellite that used to have like all of its limbs, but
and
then
it's just a shell. It's just a torso.
It kept picking on King Arthur, and he chopped off his arm, and then he's like, "'Tis but be a flesh wound. Come back here." And then eventually he was just like a body and a head of a satellite just floating in outer space.
No, it's
not.
Yes, it is. Just a flesh wound.
Yeah. Come back here. I'll bite your ankles.
So the Black Knight satellite is something that has kind of, I don't want to say like perplexed but it's one of those, I think it's on the conspiracy. I think originally we briefly mentioned it when I was talking about the conspiracy iceberg.
Yeah. It was in one of the categories.
Yeah.
I don't remember how deep it was.
I can't either. So today we're going to talk about one of the strangest space legends out there, outside of how the universe was created and all that kind of stuff. How black holes actually work, and there's been things where people have seen light being sucked into a black hole, and then years later they see light coming out of a black hole, and space is scary.
It's a weird place, that's for sure.
So, like I said,
I think there's reasons why God has limited us as human beings from being able to make it too far in outer space.
Oh, 100%. So, like I said, this is one of the strangest space legends out there. The story that stitches together Nikola Tesla, weird radio echoes, Cold War paranoia, and a runaway piece of space trash. Oh. And it asks the question, is there really something out there potentially watching us? So, let's start with the story as the believers tell it. The Black Knight satellite, according to the legend, is an artificial object in a strange orbit around the Earth, usually described as a near polar orbit, and it's supposedly been up there for thousands of years. Sometimes you see the number 13,000 thrown around, but it was not launched by us, Soviet, SpaceX, just it's been there.
Okay.
So the claim is the thing that is some kind of alien probe or ancient machine silently circling the planet, maybe monitoring us, maybe sending signals, while NASA and various governments know all about it, and they're hiding the truth, which, they never do.
No, they always tell us the truth.
So, and
never once has NASA hidden anything from anybody.
So, and depending on who you ask, like, this is what people say. So Nikola Tesla heard signals from it in 1899.
Okay.
Radio operators in the 1920s picked up weird echoes.
So this is just to be clear. This is so Tesla did a bunch of like weird experiments with radio, electricity signals, all that kind of stuff. And they're saying that in the midst of his experimentation and everything, that he heard
a signal from somewhere. And we'll get into that.
Is the Black Knight satellite. Okay.
We'll get into it.
Interesting.
So radio operators in the 1920s picked up weird echoes that might have been messages from this satellite. Military radar in the 50s and 60s tracked a mysterious satellite in a weird orbit. A Scottish researcher decoded a message that pointed to a distant star system. And then in the late 90s, NASA accidentally photographed it, and somehow the photos got out. So they actually have photographs of this thing that is floating.
Like photos that we can look up right now?
I believe so. I think I've seen pictures of it. So, you've probably seen the last bit online. There's a famous image from the 1998 space shuttle mission called STS-88. So you have a dramatic shot of Earth, blue and white, and curved around in the foreground is this black asymmetrical object with sharp angles and folds just kind of drifting up there. Doesn't look like a normal piece of space junk because there's so much junk floating around in the upper atmosphere of Earth and just the outer thing circling Earth, satellites, debris, all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't look like that. It looks like it almost looks like a villain's ship from like a comic book is what it kind of looks like. It kind of looks like almost like what you would think of as like kind of like a drop pod from Halo. It's kind of like a coffin-y type shape, like very.
I'm looking at the pictures of it right now. Yeah,
like I'm describing it from memory.
Right?
And am I pretty right on from?
Yeah. I think the dropship comparison from Halo is pretty close. Like if you guys can imagine almost the shape of like the glass canopy on the top of like an F-16, that, but with like some jagged edges and stuff towards like the flat part on the back of it and everything. It's kind of shaped like that. It kind of looks like a cover of some kind.
Yeah.
But
and it looks fairly large. Like it's not like it's a small object, like a flare in the camera lens or something like that. Like it looks like an actual object. So basically, we're gonna kind of go through each one of those different things, kind of segment by segment. So first, let's go back to 1899. So Nikola Tesla is in Colorado Springs doing what he does best: building wildly dangerous electrical equipment. In a time before OSHA existed.
Yep.
So he's experimenting with high voltage, high frequency currents, trying to create and harness this wireless power. Which we need to do an episode on Tesla, like just
yeah.
It is great. Which, okay, backing up a step, like I never thought that Tesla was in America doing all this stuff. Like for some reason, like I hear Nikola Tesla, I think like Europe and things like that.
It's me with Phil Collins all over again.
Wait, he's British?
He's British? What? Yeah.
So
blew my mind.
So at one point he notices a repeating pattern, not just static, but something seems more structured. So he writes about hearing signals that he thinks might be from intelligent beings. And remember, at this point, people are still very into the idea of Martians, aliens, things like that. So we're pre-pulsars, we're pre-FM radio, pre most of the stuff that we take for granted. So Tesla being Tesla, he goes big with it. He doesn't do anything small. So he suggests that these might not be earthly in origin. Like he's not picking up some random pulses, some signals terrestrially.
Right.
It's something extraterrestrial, and not extraterrestrial in the sense of aliens. It's not on the Earth.
Right. Just something that's not a normal part of our earthly life.
So he doesn't say Black Knight satellite, obviously, because that name doesn't exist yet. But later he writes that writers will take this moment, Tesla genius hearing little beeps in his headphones and plugging it right into the Black Knight narrative. So they're kind of taking what he wrote and everything and kind of fitting it into the modern
version of what
this is.
Yeah.
So with hindsight, we have a bunch of ways to explain the strange radio signals that Tesla simply didn't have at the time. But again, you're also taking modern context and putting it into pre-modern context. So you're kind of fitting it in, filling the gaps where it makes sense to us now.
Right.
But it might not have been...
Without having the actual like sounds and knowing where they were coming from and stuff like that. It's hard to say that we can just put it into our modern context because we also have a bunch of crap that's now floating around the earth and stuff as far as like signals and stuff that weren't here back in the day when Tesla was doing his stuff. So.
Well, and there are natural radio sources out in space. So you have pulsars, rotating neutron stars that send out super regular pulses of radio waves.
Yep.
So there's also the messy behavior of Earth's own atmosphere and magnetic field, which can bend and bounce radio signals in weird ways because, shocker, the Earth is round. Yeah. It's a sphere.
What? No, it's not.
I know. Think of a soccer ball. Anyway, so it's very possible that Tesla was hearing some combinations of natural, cosmic radio, and atmospheric effects and went, "This is weird. It's aliens." So, which, I mean, it's one of those things where, you're
the rational conclusion to jump to as a human being.
Aliens.
Always aliens.
So it's one of those things where, you don't know what you're hearing. So obviously you're going to, expound on it and kind of embellish what you think it is.
Right.
So
because why would we as human beings ever take something as just a simple face value thing when we can make up stories about aliens and
exactly
craziness?
So if I'm sitting there in whatever $18.99 headphones are and I get a repeating signal from nowhere, I'm not going to be like,
skull candy. They were skull candy headphones.
Yeah. I was like, yes, this is a distant neutron star we don't officially notice for around another 70 years.
Yeah, easy.
So, but this is our first little mark in the corkboard of the Black Knight story.
Okay.
So, let's fast forward a couple of decades to the 1920s. So, a Norwegian radio operator named Jorgen Hollis is working with radio transmissions when he notices something weird. He sends a signal out, and then several seconds later, he hears his own signal coming back. So basically, he's sending a ping, and then getting a delay, and then the same exact frequency back.
I thought you were going to say you heard the voice of Nikola Tesla going, "It's aliens, aliens."
So in normal radio terms, that delay is bizarre. So a normal radio echo bouncing off something like the ionosphere is fractions of a second, way too fast to pick up like, oh, there's my signal again.
Yeah.
But Hollis is hearing the echoes with seconds of delay. So he writes about these things, or writes about these long delayed echoes, or LEDs, not what we think of LEDs. Or LDEs, sorry, I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm dyslexic. And other experiments start trying to reproduce them. So over the years, people log sequences and these delayed echoes, and some of those sequences look oddly structured. So it's not like there's a wavy pattern. It's very like symmetrical, where it has a pattern. So, and once you hear the word saying weird pattern signals out loud, you can probably guess what happens next. People start wondering if someone or something is out there reflecting our own signals back to us with a delay.
And that's when this guy started the church of LDE, which is the Latter-day Echoes. All right, anyway, sorry.
So they begin thinking, like, is there a relay somewhere out there that's picking up these signals, holding onto them, and then
bouncing them back? Yeah.
So we don't still have a perfect unified theory of long delayed echoes even today. So this is still something that we can't figure out. We can't modernize it and put it into today. So several theories out there that involve.
Can you imagine just for a second that the aliens have sent this like satellite technology that's just been, orbiting Earth and spying on us and stuff to keep tabs on what's going on here on Earth for thousands and thousands of years. And part of what they built into this satellite is just like every once in a while it's going to mess with us. So we send signals out. Yeah. It hangs on to them for a little bit and it's like, by the way, echo.
It goes back to the theory of like, all the alien sightings were just teenagers pranking.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like that the aliens have just been messing with us for thousands
and the men in black
years.
are the moms that come back and try to like fix everything. So
we're so sorry about our kids. Look at this neuralizer.
So, like I said, there are several theories that involve complex paths through the ionosphere and magnosphere, multiple reflections like radio pinballs inside Earth's magnetic field, which is way above my intelligence and care to know.
You said a lot of words. I didn't understand a lot of them. So.
It's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
I understood all of those words. I did not understand any of them together.
Yeah. So they're rare, they're tricky, and not fully nailed down. But none of the more serious explanations for LDEs require a giant alien satellite orbiting, taking dictation. So in the Black Knight myth, this becomes dot number 2. So this is pin number 2. Tesla signals plus Hall's echoes plus the feeling that we sent something out there and it sent it back all fit nicely into a story about a watcher in the sky. So, we've been sending signals out for decades.
Long time. Yeah.
But none of them have been reflected back. Like it just basically just travels through everything.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, I forget what, isn't it the opening to Men in Black about like the satellite playing the music and things like that? Or there's a movie that has that representation where it's just like playing like clips of radio waves that are like way outdated.
I don't know.
If you guys know in the comments, let me know, or I might just be crazy, and that's perfectly fine too. I'm
trying to remember that. Stuff. I know, like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, they use music to communicate, like music and lights and stuff like that. So there's always a tie-in of that kind of stuff with different ones. But I don't know.
I distinctly remember like it's playing like Hitler's speech and like stuff from like the 30s, like and then music from the 50s and things like that, like out in space, but it's like set in modern time. Okay. So it's all the radio waves.
It doesn't sound familiar to me, so it must be a different movie than what I've seen. But
I'll have to look at it. But like I said,
listeners,
tell me
help
in the
us out.
Yeah,
if you know what it is.
So imagine yelling into a canyon and then hearing yourself 10 seconds later in your own voice, but from behind you.
Okay.
So that's kind of what this is equating to. It's the level of uncanny that we're dealing with. Humans hate leaving uncanny alone, and we need a story to fit it all together. Mm-hmm. So we'll jump into the Cold War era. So we're in the late 50s, early 60s. The Cold War is in full swing. The U.S. and Soviets are in this enormous technological conquest that is suddenly their space hardware going overhead. So Sputnik and all the satellites, the space race.
Yeah, so we're getting who can get stuff into space the fastest. Right. And so Russia beats us with
Sputnik in
satellite.
1957.
We beat them to the moon.
Yep.
If you believe that. Yeah.
In the 1960s, the U.S. Navy.
I do believe we went to the moon, just to be clear. But
jury's still out for me. Anyway, in the 1960s, the U.S. Navy reportedly detects an object in orbit that doesn't match any known launch. So everything is pretty well documented, especially not necessarily through normal news media, but the government has eyes, planes everywhere that can detect launches and things like that, because this is a heightened nuclear awareness, because you're wanting to keep track of anything that is launched from the ground into the air, regardless if it's a plane, a bird, a missile,
Superman.
Exactly. A bullet, it's fine. So the newspapers start talking, naturally, about a mystery satellite. So is it Soviet? Is it something secret? Or is it something else? So if you're a Cold War era editor, you're going to run the headline as hard as you possibly can. Mystery satellite is gold.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, it ties into the paranoia at the time, the fears. Like, it's an instant paper seller.
I was about to say, yeah, it's like the news cycle at that point in time, man, was like anything you can sensationalize that might fit into the Cold War stuff is headline makers.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So later it turns out the object they were tracking was related to the Discoverer program, which is basically the cover name for early American spy satellites, or the Corona program. So it wasn't aliens, it was basically just us that they lost track of or didn't realize that it was a satellite that was out there.
We love that.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to the broken arrows.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
So, but the clarification doesn't travel as far as the spooky headlines. I mean, naturally, would you rather read something about, oh, yeah, no, that was us, or what's this in space?
Aliens. Yeah.
So now we have,
of course, that's what everybody wants to read. It's like that's why the reason why eventually all of those same newspapers that were writing during the Cold War era eventually became tabloids, because they realized that once everything dried up as far as the actual news goes, they were like, we still have to have things to sensationalize, and so then you get like,
I married Bigfoot and we're so happy together.
Michael Jackson was really an alien, that kind of stuff,
So now we have pin number 3. We've got Tesla's mysteries, Hall's delayed echoes, and a very public story about a mystery satellite in a strange orbit that can't be identified right away.
We love that.
Nobody is using the term Black Knight yet, but there's still all of the ingredients are starting to pile up on the counter.
It was just called the Dark Knight before it was the Black Knight.
Right. So this brings us to the 1970s, and one of the best characters of this story, Duncan Lunan. So Lunan is a Scottish writer and researcher who becomes fascinated by those old, long-delayed echo experiments.
Duncan Lunan.
Lunan. So he looks at the echo delays, the time gaps between when the signals was sent and when the weird echo came back, and he kind of starts to formulate a wild idea. So, and this is not rare that people will go back and look at other people's stuff and kind of dig more into it with that modern lens and see if they can be the one to kind of crack that code.
Yeah. Can we explain something that was unexplained in the past, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So he thought, what if the delays themselves are a message?
Okay.
So he plots the delays on graph paper, treating them like coordinates instead of signals. So he thinks he starts to see a pattern emerging, something that he interprets as a star map. So now we get the plot to Contact. He connects the dots and decides the map points to a star system called Epsilon Bootis, Bootis.
God bless you.
Sure, yeah. A double star in the constellation Bootis. I'm trying to say it with a... Bootis. So he goes even further and suggests that what we're dealing with is some kind of automated probe stationed in space, maybe like a stable position, like the Lagrange point in the Earth-Moon system that's been sitting there for something like 11 to 13,000 years, quietly bouncing messages back at anyone who pings it.
Gotcha.
So this is the moment where you can basically hear sci-fi fans of the 70s sit up in their chairs. It's very ancient alien sentinel, like the black monolith from 2001.
Right.
2001 Space Odyssey.
Yep.
So, but with better ham radio, essentially. So Lunan publishes this idea in 1973. For a while it circulates. It's speculative, it's bold, and it folds real data, those echoes, into a very dramatic narrative. So he's taking something that is tangible, real, and then kind of rolling with what he thinks it is.
Right.
Then he changes his mind. So later on, he reevaluates his work, decides the interpretation isn't scientifically solid, and retracts the claim. So he says, like, maybe this wasn't it. Maybe I sensationalized it a little bit too much, and then he pulls it back. So, I mean, he didn't let it linger out there.
Well, good for him for doing that, right?
Like, that's not a lot of people,
not the typical MO,
especially in this field, will retract what they think. So he points out his method for decoding the quote-unquote message was essentially him finding a pattern that fit the story he wanted to tell.
Oh, okay.
So But again, good on him for kind of reining it back in. In other words, he was forcing the dots to make an image. And we can do that. You have research biases and things like that. Like
absolutely.
You can type.
More scientists should be willing to do what this guy did.
Exactly. But
cough,
it's the
Neil
70s.
deGrasse Tyson cough. Sorry. Anyways.
It's the 70s and people still had accountability.
Yeah.
So now here's where the myth and reality diverge hard. In the actual world, the scientist or researcher re-examines his work and goes, hey, this isn't good enough. I take it back. Like you said, that's how it's supposed to go.
That's how it should be.
In conspiracy land, though, that retraction doesn't matter.
Nope.
The original story, the alien probe, Epsilon.
Once human beings hear alien, there is no going back.
Yeah, they stop at alien.
Yeah, there's a large number of conspiracy theory people out there that once you cross the line and say, we believe this could be aliens, that becomes scripture to them of, this is definitely aliens and we'll do everything we can to prove it.
Yep. So the alien probe, Epsilon Botus, the thousands years of orbit, it's just too good. So the Black Knight narrative grabs it, welds it into Tesla, onto Hollis, onto the Cold War mystery satellite, and says this is all one thing.
Yep. Naturally.
So by that time we get into the internet era where we got this composite character. An ancient probe, maybe 13,000 years old, from Epsilon Botus, sitting in a weird orbit, bouncing strange radio signals back to us, and occasionally people with a telescope or radar cameras can, quote unquote, see it. We still haven't gotten and this is all before the photo was taken. So this is all still theoretical. There's something out there, maybe. We don't know what it is. So
So this is we're going down the typical trail of we have a few things that are unexplained. We have a theory that comes out of there's something out there that's echoing these things back to us, which the guy, by the way, says
retracted.
This is not right.
Yeah.
But now that we have these theories and these unexplained things out there, people all of a sudden are putting pieces together without really any core links to it, right? But we're going to put these pieces together and come up with this theory of there is this Black Knight satellite that's out there orbiting the Earth, and now anything that adds
anything that's remotely tangentially related, they're going to throw at it.
It has to be part of it, right?
And I think the reason why this has so much snowballing effect is because it does have some tangible pieces to it.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that is what allows people to hold on to it a lot more than
that's what typically will make something that gets the crazy following is they just need one or two things that are actual things, right? Like we have the echoes that are coming back. We just have a couple little things that we know are factual,
right?
And then a whole mountain of things that we know are not factual, but that seem to line up with this, and we can build a whole giant theory around it. So
I mean, the next thing there's some golden plates and they're buried in the desert. So
oh boy, dum 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 dum.
So we're on to STS-88. Now it's 1998.
Oh,
so
man, they've got medication for that.
So 30 years ago, or no, 28 years ago.
Yeah.
Jeez, doesn't seem like that. It should be that long ago. Jeez.
Yeah. We were just talking about the movement of time with some guys the other day and stuff, and just people don't understand, man. Time goes so much exponentially faster the older you get and stuff. It's just crazy. Anyways.
So the International Space Station is just getting started. The Space Shuttle Endeavour on mission STS-88 is the first ISS assembly flight, docking the American Unity module into the Russian Zarya model. So it's a big deal. It's the early bricks of a giant space station outpost that we have today.
Yeah.
So it's the joining, it's the breaking down of the Cold War. It's the Russians and the United States, at least on the surface, working together to advance both of our knowledges of space.
It's the world's grandest scale of connects being played by billions of dollars worth of space stuff.
Trillions of dollars of space stuff. So during one of the spacewalks, the astronauts are working with what's called a tri-union pin thermal cover. Basically, if you think of it...
Yeah, I've got one of those in my truck.
Yeah. It's kind of a multi-layer insulation blanket that wraps around certain pieces of hardware to protect them from the extreme temperatures of space.
Okay.
Insulation.
Yeah, sure.
Boil that all description down to insulation. So these
If
blankets...
anybody doesn't know, space is really cold.
Yes. So if you think of the metallic fabric that is on all of like the space equipment,
Yeah.
that's what that is.
Yep.
So it's not rigid. They fold, they wrinkle, they crumple.
Okay.
In the middle of the EVA, one of the thermal blankets gets loose. It slips away from the astronaut and floats off, and they lose it. Which, you're not going to be like, hey, I'll be right back. Like, you can only go a certain distance from oxygen.
And the cool thing is that thermal blanket that he lost only cost $1 million.
Right, yeah. We got plenty back home.
Yeah, no big deal.
We got thermal blankets at home. So... So there's even audio where the commander is basically like, one of the thermal blankets just floated away.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine you're the guy who's out there floating in space and you got, there's the comms that are coming on. And then you just hear the guy go, "Oh, poop."
Crap.
They're like, "Can you come again, Commander?" He's like, "Yeah, I might have let go of the thermal blanket." And they're like, "Can you repeat?" "Sir, do you know how much that costs?" He's like, "Roger that. Know how much it costs." Feel real bad about that one.
So now there's this big, lightweight, reflective blanket slowly tumbling away from the shuttle in orbit.
Yeah.
NASA, being NASA, takes a bunch of photos. Mm-hmm. So you get shots of the station, the modules, the hardware, and some of those frames you see this object.
Sure.
Dark in some angles, shiny in others, drifting by. So,
And all the conspiracy people. Aliens!
So here's the key thing. Because it's close to the shuttle and the station, the blanket is in with a few tens or hundreds of meters. This means the camera can actually get a detailed photo of it.
Yeah.
As it tumbles, the shapes looks different from frame to frame. It's sharp corners here, big folds there, twisted and surface catching light. If you look at one of those images in isolation, no context, no caption, it looks wild. The asymmetric, jagged, almost sculptural thing silhouetted against a bright Earth. Mm-hmm. This image, or one of them, becomes known as a Black Knight satellite.
Yeah. That's what I was just looking at a while ago. Like when you brought this up, I pulled up the pictures of it and stuff, and that's what I was checking out, was all the different like angles and stuff.
Yeah,
of it.
so
And
you
it's
see the thermal blanket is in the picture, but it's separate, right?
From the Black Knight satellite?
Yeah.
No, I think
okay.
From what I was seeing, it looks like the images that they have on here and stuff like that. From what they were saying, it is the thermal blanket thing. It's just because of where it is and how far it's floated away and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like it's in shadow because it's backlit by the Earth. Mm-hmm. And you could see like the sun shining off of different reflective parts as it rotates around and stuff. But like, they show like there's a bunch of different angles of it, and it's very, I don't know, I wouldn't say clear, like crystal clear, but you can see and kind of go, okay, like once I know what it is, it makes sense.
Right. So
but at the same time, I can understand why people were like freaking out about it, because the shape that it took on when it was released into outer space, because again, there's no wind, no nothing to manipulate this thing. So the shape that it took on, I could totally see, like if out of context, without knowing what it is, you'd look at it and go, holy crap, dude, that's alien stuff. Yeah. But then knowing what it is, you're like, oh, yeah, I can see that too.
So in reality, NASA catalogs the object as space debris from the mission, a lost thermal blanket, and it re-enters the atmosphere and burns up not long after. There's nothing in the tracking data that suggests a huge, long-lived alien craft that suddenly popped into existence and then left. But here's what happens on the internet, because the internet be the internet. The photos get detached from their mission logs, their EVA transcripts, and their dry technical explanation. They show up on blogs and forums as quote-unquote mystery object photographed by NASA, later removed from their website. So somebody slaps the name Black Knight on it, and it sticks. Because if you've already have its lore, Tesla signals, the weird echoes, the mystery satellites, the star maps from Epsilon Bodas, then you see a black angular floating object over Earth, your brain goes, We got it.
There it is.
Never mind, it's from 1998 and not 13,000 years ago. Never mind that it matches the thing the astronauts say they literally dropped. The picture's too good.
Yeah.
So this moment where the Black Knight goes from being kind of a niche radio space conspiracy to a mainline internet myth. A single frame from the shuttle EVA becomes the face of century-spanning legend.
So the funny thing is like it's not just there's the pictures that NASA took of the Black Knight satellite, and then like ones that are just those pictures enhanced, right, to make it clearer. But then there's ones like people have taken it and manipulated the picture and taken the object out of the original pictures and put it into different scenarios so that they can really play up. So like if you did a search, you know, you're looking on Google and you're looking at this, there's so many different like manipulations of this that you would think, oh my gosh, that does look like an alien thing and stuff like that. Except for if you go back and look at the OG photos of it, you go, yeah, that's just
a space
debris
flight
that they let go of.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
Basically, this is the reality of the mission, the EVA, the spacewalk, the maintenance. Basically, when you take it as what it is, it completely unravels this whole narrative. It's just another piece in the corkboard that fits the narrative that you want to tell.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were talking about earlier. Is like people get an idea in their head, and anything that they can, you know, it's the. I always think of the red string picture of the guy from It's Always Sunny,
Charlie from,
and he's you know wide eyed and pointing back to all the strings and stuff like that. That's all these people are doing. Is it like literally like because you can do that with just about anything. Mm-hmm. If I make up my mind of here's the reality of something, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and I'll say this one as a good example because this is a very common one, is spouses in their marriages, right? Coming up with this idea of like, well, there was like this one time where I couldn't account for where my spouse was. They must be cheating on me, right? And so they get this idea in their head, and they begin to put the pieces together of, well, any time that I don't know where they are or that they don't answer their phone, they don't text me right back and stuff like that, it's all pieces of they're cheating on me and stuff like that. And it's like, no, dude, they're not. They're just like freaking in the bathroom or going grocery shopping or whatever it may be, and they don't respond to you and stuff like that. You know, but that's one of those things that like our world creates that mentality of like you got to put the pieces together. Yeah, and I'll say this. When it comes to conspiracy theories, I think that men are the culprits most of the time.
Oh, 100%.
I think when it comes to the everyday life stuff, women are the culprits most of the time of this. Like I've told Brooke before, I'm like, your whole head is one giant like spider web of stuff that's all connected. I'm a man. My stuff is independent. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's in a box.
Everything's
and
straight
stays where it is.
So let's kind of fully strip away the myth. From a scientific and engineering point of view, we have plenty of natural atmospheric explanations for weird radio behavior, a long history of misidentified satellites that later turn out to be human hardware, a specific well-documented shuttle mission where a thermal blanket goes missing, and it looks in photos exactly like the Black Knight or the supposed Black Knight craft. No verified consistent orbital data for a large, unknown, long-lived object in a polar orbit that's been up there since the last ice age. So if there was really a massive alien probe in a stable orbit around Earth, especially in a polar orbit, very specific, that crosses over ground-based radar all the time, it would be one of the easiest things in the world to notice and track. Amateur satellite observers, the kind of people who track every classified military satellite in the sky, would have a field day with it. So on the evidence scale, it's not looking good for an ancient alien satellite. But this is the fun part, that it doesn't make the story worthless. In a weird way, the Black Knight is a perfect case study for how we build modern myths.
Yeah.
So as you can see, the whole process, a real anomaly or an odd observation, which is true, a speculative explanation that leads into the mystery, media headlines that amplify a weird part and quietly forgetting the later clarification, a compelling visual that gets detached from its original context, and online communities that connect all the pieces into a single dramatic narrative. It's basically space age folklore.
Yeah, I mean, so much of this like lines up with like our last episode. We talked about the Snallygaster, right? And what the media did, sensationalizing it from, you know, the 1909 and 1912, because there were stories before that could have just been written off as like folklore or whatever, and then they turned it into the sensation. The same thing happens with something like the Black Knight. And now you think about the fact that with the advent of the internet and everything else that we've had over time, things spiral out of control really fast when you can give information to people in the blink of an eye. Yeah.
So that's the Black Knight satellite, part Tesla, part Cold War, part old radio weirdness, part space blanket, and a whole lot of human imagination. So if you have your own favorite space mystery, UFO incident, weird folklore, anything like that, send it our way. We'll kind of dig deep into it like we did this one.
Heck yeah.
As you look up at the sky at night and you see the ISS kind of floating overhead, and you see a jagged black shape cruising overhead behind it, give it a wave. Worst case scenario, you're just waving in a blanket.
Best case scenario, you're waving to our alien overlords that are on the way.
Right. So so that was the story of the Black Knight satellite.
That's good stuff. I appreciate you telling me about that.
Yeah.
I don't think I did know like all the ins and outs of that one. So I have a short, funny story to tell you,
perfect.
and then we can wrap up with this episode because we're getting closer to time. In September of 2016, a man named John Bennett was arrested in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada.
Okay.
His arrest was a little bit unusual.
Stole too much maple syrup.
You know what? That would have been normal compared to what I think that I'm about to tell you.
Illegally herding moose.
Moosin?
Mooses?
Mouses? So, here's the interesting thing. John gets arrested in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada. John is from Calais, I think it is, or Calais, Maine.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Florida, so I was like...
yeah, that would have been a big hike. Here's the interesting thing about it is, so John's a 25-year-old who grew up in Maine. He has a girlfriend that is Canadian.
Okay.
So just to be clear about like where we're at with this is the part of Maine that he's from is in that little section of Maine that kind of juts up into Canada.
So,
basically.
yeah.
They're separated from Canada by a river.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to pull up the thing because I had all this stuff like kind of laid out as far as the map and everything. So yeah, if you look on Google Maps, Calais, Maine is right across the river from St. Stephen.
Okay.
Oak Bay is just a little ways up, kind of northeast of it.
Okay.
But they're all kind of mixed in right there. Like it's kind of hard to tell the differences between America and Canada in a sense. But there are border crossings and all that kind of stuff where you can go from Calais into St. Stephen.
Okay.
There's a bridge that you're allowed to cross and stuff like that.
So it's basically like neighboring cities, essentially?
Yeah. They're real close by. So it's kind of like when we were talking about Boston going to assist with the stuff that happened in Nova Scotia. They're close enough. Like these guys are even closer, right? So these guys are like actually right across the river from one another. The Boston thing was like a travel to get up there to help them and all that kind of stuff. Or take boats. But this one's really interesting because the reason why John got arrested was not because he was like committing any major crimes in a sense. The reason why John got arrested, and remember, this is 2016, he got arrested because John went to Walmart and purchased
Tylenol,
an air mattress.
Oh,
Which he then blew up, mounted, and paddled across the river to get into
homeboy, there's a bridge.
St. Stephen. So here's the thing. John, before doing this, had caught a bunch of charges, both
there it is
in Calais and St. Stephen, so America and Canada. He had been arrested for mischief charges. So nothing like crazy, right? Like he's just been kind of a nuisance. I would imagine, based on this story. It does not say whether he was intoxicated or not when he was arrested.
Guessing on the former, not the latter.
I'm thinking Molson Ice had a little bit of something to do with a lot of the decisions that were made. Yeah, so
a little bit.
And so his girlfriend's in Canada, and so John, now having gotten these mischief charges, went to the bridge to cross into St. Stephen, and it was denied because they're like, you have charges against you and stuff like that. We're not going to let you onto the Canadian side because maybe you're running from charges or whatever, that kind of stuff. So John, pissed off, and I'm guessing drunk. I have no indicator in the story to be able to say that was for sure. That goes back into Calais, Maine, goes to Walmart, purchases a double size air mattress, which credit to him for not getting a twin. Inflates the air mattress, carries it down to the water at the river, and uses a wooden paddle to paddle his way across the river to get into St. Stephen in Canada. They basically said, like, the moment that he got out of the water, he was arrested for illegally crossing the border. Yeah, which is a bigger charge than the mischief charges he already had on him and stuff like that. But he told the police that he had to get to his pregnant girlfriend because he was worried for her safety because her ex-boyfriend was threatening her life. And so he tried to play it off like he was
the concerned,
a superhero, basically. That
and your best superpower is paddling an air mattress across the river.
Seems to me like when you went to the border and stuff like that, you could have at least explained to them and said, "Hey, my girlfriend's over there. She's pregnant. Her ex-boyfriend is threatening her. Could you at least send some cops?"
Right.
That maybe would have been a good idea.
Right. And like send her, I don't know, over the border legally and
tell her to come to you. Like, turns out in 2016 we had these things called phones
and you know what,
and email.
More often than not, bridges have multiple lanes on them, so you can go there and back
both ways. That's how that works. So, oh my gosh. So John just made a series of really bad decisions and stuff like that. It ended up getting him arrested for illegally crossing the border into Canada. And needless to say, he didn't get to see his girlfriend and stuff either. So I came across this as I was like looking through a bunch of like really funny stories, and that one like really hit home for me. So I was like, I like this a lot.
Speaking of Canada,
Canada.
You know, right now as of recording, the Olympics are going
Winter
on.
Olympics, yeah.
Yeah, I think they might stick around for a little
Canada's been like freaking.
Well, yeah, it's Winter Olympics, duh.
Well, but the curling in particular.
Okay, so this has to do with curling. Did you see?
I love curling.
Did you see that there was a misconduct penalty called in the Canada-Sweden match, I think, the men's?
No, what was this for?
It was basically
misconduct in curling.
Somebody sent it to me on TikTok, and like this Canadian dude is like basically like I don't want to say threatening, but like talking aggressively to this dude, not in a quote unquote typical nice Canadian fashion.
Yeah,
like cursing him out and stuff like that. But it's funny hearing. It's always funny hearing somebody curse in a different accent.
Yeah.
But like a Canadian accent, especially.
What's that about?
But yeah, so it was like, so I think the title of it was like, well, I didn't have that on Kalish for the betting that there would be a misconduct penalty and curling against Canada, but you also have to think Canada takes the Geneva Convention as Geneva suggestions because the amount of war crimes that Canada has caught or has done is surprising to say the least.
Oh, so the Swedish guy.
So it was Sweden. It was Sweden and Canada.
It was Sweden and Canada. The Swedish guy accused the Canadian curler of cheating in the Olympics, which is the reason why he cussed him out.
I'll have to send you the.
I'll edit this, but he said you can flip off.
Yeah,
was the wording that he said to him and stuff like that. And
Yeah, I'll show you the video when we're done recording. But yeah, it was set because I was trying to explain curling to Harper because we were watching it. I think we were watching the mixed doubles. I think the women's team actually beat Canada for the first time ever in the Olympics too here this last week. Okay. And we have a Jamaican bobsled team in the Winter Olympics again.
Oh yeah. So I saw those guys the other day. Yeah. Sorry, I was reading part of this article because it was saying that like, so the whole thing blew up because the Swedish guy accused the Canadians of double touching their stones. Okay. So once you release, you're not allowed to touch it at all until the end of until either the stones get pushed outside of the thing
or it hits another stone.
Yeah, there's like certain places where like once the stone ends up at the end of the play, then you can move the stones out of the way and like touch them and stuff like that. But you're not allowed to touch them up until a certain point. Right. And this guy was accusing the Canadians of double touching, that they were like releasing and then touching again somehow the stone, which was would give you an advantage to a degree. And so when the guy like screamed at the Swedish guy Oscar is his name. Responded back, said, "You haven't done it once," like asking him, like, "You guys haven't done this one time throughout the whole thing?" And he said, Kennedy is the guy's name that was Canadian. He said, "I haven't done it once. Don't chirp at me, and then you can flip off." And the other guy said, "I can show you video after the game." So they're like, they were apparently going back and forth with all of it and stuff. And he said the Erickson was the Swedish guy, and he's like, You saw it. You saw the touching, right? Asking other people. He said, so is he allowed to do it or not? That's the question. So anyways, there's a whole blow up about the accusations and everything. That's interesting, though.
But yeah, I thought, because everybody is like...
Which is even funnier because curling is like the everyday dad and mom people are the ones that are out there doing the curling stuff.
I think the last, the last Olympics where the USA team got bronze 4 years ago, I think it was. Like if the men's curling team, like if you looked at it, it looked like a bunch of dads that were well, we can't play cornhole.
They're all rocking like khakis and like polos.
Yep.
Yeah, they look like
a bunch of dads that just like, hey, you want to do curling? I don't know what we're doing.
The northern part of America that borders Canada. That's what, instead of playing cornhole or golf and stuff like that, because the winters are so freaking long, they do curling instead and stuff. But
it's beer league hockey and curling.
Very funny to me. So, anyways, so we'll remind you guys today as we wrap up and stuff with that. If you've got any kind of conspiracy theory things along the lines of like the Black Knight satellite and stuff that you want us to dive into,
folklore, anything like that. If you have
funny arrest stories and stuff that you want us to talk about,
you want us to do more Florida stories like we did in the first.
There was a new Florida man thing that came out this past week, so we'll have to dive some more into those eventually too. But anything that you guys have out there topics wise that you want us to talk about, please let us know. You can comment on any of our Facebook posts, Instagram posts. You can send us a message if you want to and stuff. But yes, if you guys have something that you want us to be able to dive into, please let us know. We'd love to discuss those things, and Josh will give you a little bit more information about how you can get involved.
Yep. So at the top of in our show description, we have our link tree. Basically, if you click on that, it'll take you to all of our socials. Go ahead and click all those buttons: like, subscribe, share, download. Like we said in the last episode, go ahead and make sure you have our episodes set on auto download. That helps us in the algorithm, gets us pushed out to more people. The more people that actually listen and download actually helps our numbers significantly as far as getting them pushed out into the algorithm.
Yep, we would appreciate that.
And then if you're on a mobile browser, if you go to our link tree at the top, it'll have a share icon, and it'll give you all of the different platforms to share it on, whether it's copying the link or sharing it on Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever platform that you're on. Go ahead and share that and help us just to kind of keep growing this podcast so we can do more fun things. I know Josh and I were talking back and forth. We want to play some more Minecraft together with some
I'm excited to do some more of the
crazy mods and stuff like that. So,
or Lucky Block, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Lucky Block and One Block and things like that. So, all right. Well, if you have any ideas for us to any Minecraft or any, next month Subnautica 2 is releasing, and
Josh is really keen to get me to play this.
Yes, I
he
am.
knows that I'm going to be terrified of the whole thing. So.
So if you want us to play more games like that, more multiplayer games, let us know. And if not, we will see you in the next episode.
That's right. We love you guys. Hope you have a great week.
Bye. That is genuinely one sport that I would want to get into.
Curling?
That or hockey. Like I would have loved to have played hockey.
I couldn't do hockey, but curling, I'd be down.
Oh, yeah.
We should start a team. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Either that or we should bring lawn darts back.
Lawn darts. I'm all about that. I love that idea.
Competitive lawn, but like the OG lawn darts with the metal spike and the
ones that actually kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know why they banned them.
That's so good. Hey, did you know if you flip a canoe upside down, you can wear it as a hat?
Really?
Yeah, it's capsized.
I walked right into that one.
Yes, got you. Hey, here's an interesting one. That just real quick before we totally close this out. Somebody asked a park ranger, why can't they invent bear-proof trash cans? You want to know the park ranger's genius response to this?
What?
He said, because there is a considerable overlap between the smartest bears and the dumbest humans.
Was that the Yellowstone response? Because that Twitter page is wild.
Their Twitter stuff is hilarious. Dude.
Yeah, shout out to whoever runs the Wendy's.
What is it?
The National Park System.
Yeah, National Parks. They're the
Wendy's.
Gosh,
the
so
Wendy's
good.
Twitter account. Oh my gosh, they are unhinged, and I am here for
the
it.
National Parks ones when they're just like, we know that the big kitty looks fluffy, but trust us, no cuddling.
Yeah. It's like the bison, like a snow covered bison. Don't jump on it thinking it's
Appa.
Appa.
Yeah.
If you yell yip yip, you'll get yeeted.
It's hilarious.